Hey guys, so good morning, and I love to share my point of view I learned these days with you, uncensored and unafraid of any consequences, because I also notice in myself some reluctance to share some opinions, but luckily I'm a bit uh, yeah, I say blind in that, or I just feel it's more important to share than to keep it in. So let's start off with a personal thing about this whole um, process we're in. So first of all, this morning I woke up and I have that these mornings I wake up and I think, is it still real? Is it still there? I dare not to switch on my phone and the news to just see, because in the morning when I wake up, everything looks the same, outside here. But then yesterday in the supermarket, things here in the Netherlands also started to look a bit weird. My house mate called it sci-fi. It remembers like a sci-fi movie, and that's also exactly what comes up to me, and what also David Icke is saying, the guy who I watched yesterday on a podcast from London Real. And this David Icke, for me, he brought it home. All the theories, all I've been hearing, all the so-called conspiracy theories. Um, and for me, he gave me a point of view from which I can see the longer term plan, and put things, the little events in there, and see, okay, so this what happening. So he talks about the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. It's a sci-fi, and there's many sci-fis. I just saw Altered Carbon. I also love that science fiction movie, and many of these movies, that you have this one movie with, I don't know, Matt Damon, I think, that the higher society is on another planet, and then the lower society is on this planet, and they are fighting. Well, if you really look at the world at the moment, how it is, it's already there, and I've been saying this already for a long time, that the distinction between poor and rich is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The gap is getting bigger and bigger, and everything that's being implemented now, all the technology is just increasing that. And um, so at the moment there is a 1%. The 1% richest people have as much wealth as 50% of the poorer part. And there's a positive thing, because it's not about the money. It's not about the money in the end, and that's also what I want to bring into this video. It's not to be scared, because everything that's happening now is just something you can, like, really brush off if you are in the right frequency. And what's happening now, and the people that have control over the money and the media, and thereby over the let's say the perception of the population, and push your fear buttons with love, which is so much a bigger energy, um, and if I say this with love, it sounds really like woo, but that's also a shame, actually, that we think of it like that, because it's actually very strong, and what's needed now to go to the heart chakra, to go to the fourth chakra, and go through that portal to the higher chakras. But I'll keep it in plain language, because I know a lot of people also watch me, like family and people I met in other parts of my life outside of the spiritual path, that just want to have plain words. So to go into plain words, and something I experienced yesterday, which really touched me a lot, is that so it was my birthday. I'm 33, It's the Jesus age. Peter is always telling me. Peter is my friend, not an apostle, but he's like, yeah, it's the Jesus age. Okay, well, it feels the same as 32. But so Friday was my birthday, 20 March. It's also a special time now with the starting of a new year, always 2021. And so my parents came yesterday over to celebrate my birthday. And what really touched me is that my father didn't want to hug me. You know, he was he was just afraid of hugging me. He was just afraid to get the virus, right? Because he's a bit older, and that really touched me. And immediately I feel a strong sadness coming up inside of me. You know, and this is a very pure and true sadness, and I like to really honor it and say, okay, what's happening here? You know, it's it was such a pure sadness that what has to happen that a father will not touch his child on his or her birthday, you know, that the family bond is less strong than the population fear influence. That's wow, that's amazing. And another thing, what they told me is that my grandmother, she is in a nursery home, and they don't allow visitors. So she is becoming very, very, very lonely. And I'm like, okay, so we are protecting the elder, but you know how many elder will die because of the loneliness, because of the sadness that they feel, getting crazy, stuck together with only nurses and other elder people. You know, this is madness. It's that's also why I raised the questions on Facebook, like, what's needed for you to hand in your freedom? You know, what does it take to hand in your freedom? For me, this is not what it takes to hand in my freedom. This can be dealt with in so many other ways, you know, to just lock down whole societies because of um, because there is a virus that is uh, making damage to elder and people with a weaker immune system. Which, by the way, this weaker immune system is all because of the shit we eat. And so everything is coming together for me now. The things I've been already seeing for years and been picking up, you know, about veganism, about Wim Hof breathing method, about strengthening yourself, no sugar, no caffeine, all these things, they're all influencing your body. You know, you don't need a vaccine. You don't need to put that viruses in your body to be better. Super weird, you know. Why not focus on health and promote health? But that's not what they are doing. So the overarching agenda here is what is being laid out, and by people do it a lot better than me, like David Icke. Please check my timeline, and you will see a video of him here. The overarching timeline, you know, is that, and that was, I was already a while ago, I was seeing what's happening always in China, of course, eh? And I was like, okay, China, and they have these huge companies which are supported by the government, so they have a lot of power, and you know, the WeChat and all, like their version of whatever, Amazon and everything, they're too big to fail, you know. And then I was saying, hey, in America actually it's happening exactly the same thing, you know, because but then they call it venture capitalist. So Arjen Lubach, he made a great topic about Uber. So what's Uber doing? It's just like getting all the small business owners out of the market, you know, because they make a loss every month of so many million, whatever, you know. I have a company myself. If I make too big of a loss, you know, I'm done. And what you see now, that's what strikes me. and I know business owners who are now really wondering what the fuck should I do, is that this virus is just, and it's not the virus, it's the it's the media virus, let's say, it's the fear virus, shuts down the economy and plays right into the hand of big guys like Amazon, for instance, who just coincidentally stepped into Europe now. So what you're seeing is monopolies being created, and there's red and blue. There's the China and America. But actually, now I see the overarching plan, and that it's all the same. That's the funny thing of it. It's all the same. It's all the same people behind. It's so simple, because it's just a few people, and these people are now also really wondering, like, okay, now we're doing this, and they see us and they think, oh, this population is so stupid. We can just push these fear buttons and they will just comply. They'll just go in their home, lock themselves up, no protest, and it's beautiful to see all these initiatives, like let's do yoga online and let's do this. It's beautiful, But what I want to see is that you say, fuck it, I'm going to meet with a group of friends and we're gonna continue our life. We're gonna live, We're gonna find another solution for this so-called problem. Because when the swine flu was out there, check it out, in the United States, they did a great policy at that time to not create a panic, to because they know a panic creates more people think, oh, I have it too, let's go to the hospital, it overloads your system, like what's happening now. So and so many people died at that year. Check the specific numbers. Swine flu, 2008 or 18, 19, or 8 or 9. Don't pin me down on the numbers, because that's something I'm not that strong in, to remember these things. So I lost my train of thought because I get insecure about my memory, and I want to do it all so good. I want to make this movie so good, and that comes up, yeah, to share. So for me, the last weeks, I've been going through all the theories, all the stuff, all the and things just make sense. Things just make sense. I had a feeling with the Greta Thunberg girl, who was there on the podium, like this climate activist, and I have feelings with people that are now turning out to be right, and this Greta is just part of the game, it's part of the game. She was brought to that whatever World Economic Forum or something where she spoke. She was brought there on a yacht, on a sailing yacht that's owned by the 1% up there, and so they're all playing. Oh, yeah, that's what I want to say. The guys, they are laughing at the moment. Nah, they're not laughing. They're just no, they're not laughing because that's all they have no joy, I guess. They only have like pleasure, pleasure of the flesh. But they think all these stupid people, they just let themselves lock down. And what I see is both from the rational part and the spiritual part. It's the people that comply in their own way and their own reasons, and I understand why you do it, because of course, yeah, comply now, otherwise it will be worse, and it's just for this amount of time, and um, this whole thing is being played out like you're guilty of other people's death if you don't comply with this. That's a very very strong. It's very simple. It's a bit narrow perspective. Like, oh, if you will go out, you meet with a group of people, then you spread the disease, and then you're the that's not the victim, but you're the villain. It's villainizing people, I think. One of the analogies that came up into my mind, and then do with it what you want, but was that suppose you have a family where you have an abusive father, let's say, in this now, because this also has to do with the masculine and feminine fight, let's say, and we've been in here also thousands of times. That's also what I realize. I hope I can tell about it soon. So suppose you have a abusive father, and you have a daughter and a son, and the daughter wants to sing, wants to express, wants to enjoy life, but the son, he knows if the daughter sings, then they both get punished, by the father. So the son is becoming angry at the daughter, like at his sister, like, hey, you shouldn't sing, and you're not doing it right. So he's becoming aggressive to his sister, and she doesn't know. She has a parent that should let her feel safe, that do not, that abuse her, and she has her brother, her companion, who is how do you say, well, you get what I mean, and so the brother is pointing at her, but he should point upwards. Of course, there's where the problem is. It's there with the father. It's not with the child expressing love and life, So that's what's happening now, in my opinion, with the group, with the people. And also what's happening now is that we're seeing our governments as our parents. We're not. They're not. They're totally not. We're not children. People cannot take care of themselves. If you let them free, they will just run around and they will kill the elderly people. It's so stupid. You don't believe in yourself. That's what's beneath it. You don't believe in your own wisdom. You're projecting it on others. But I believe in people, and if we believe in people, that's also what David Icke in the end. It's what your perception creates reality. It's like quantum physics. If you believe that people are smart to make their own decisions, they're intelligent beings, then people become smart and intelligent beings. It's just like with children. If you have children and you tell them all the time, if you approach them from the perspective that they're stupid and they need your help with everything, or you approach them from the perspective you're intelligent and I'm here to support you, but I let you to figure out on your own, which person do you think becomes smarter and more independent adult? Huh? So, and so that was the analogy, and that's what I wanted to say about spiritual people. I love it, and it gives me insight also to because people say, hey, you cannot. I will also tell about this symbol. Hey, you Olaf, what's happening? You're rebelling, and you have to take this as a chance to go inward and to feel what's happening inside and find freedom inside. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. But it's also, if you see the overarching play, it's just a passive way, and it's perfect. The 1%, they will let you do that. They're like, okay, great. That the spiritual people, they will always just be there and just meditate and accept and go inward. but it's great. The wisdom is great. But then next to that, there's also action needed, because you need to do something. You need to focus on the positives. Even accept, be calm, raise your vibrations, yes, and then focus on what you want in life. Focus on what you want in life. And what I want in life is a society built on love, and trust and uniqueness. And I want freedom for people to express, and freedom to people to go around and make adventures, and not being tracked by all sorts of stuff that's now implemented first in China, but will come to the West also. So yeah, of course, I believe in this raising vibrations and acceptance, but you have to choose your battles, you know. It's not that every challenge that comes to you it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna feel this through. Yeah, so this is also needed to say, no, we don't want this, we want something else. How are we going to fix this, guys? Stop right now, thank you very much. Now we're going to do something else, because it's just crazy where we are now. It's really, really, really great. And this tattoo is a sign that comes from these series of Bandersnatch. What is it? Mirror. I lost the name. This is Netflix series, and there you see a society that's ruled by a point system. Actually, what's happening out now in China, and what's the blueprint of what's coming here also, is this crazy blueprint, this crazy point system. You know, that your life will be run by how you behave, and other people will tell you what's the good behavior. And with the good behavior, you get the points. So check this Netflix um, series, and there you see this woman in America, and she's like always making the right pictures. This Instagram, you know, for the likes and the stuff, and she wants to get the points higher and higher and higher because she wants to get to the 1%, you know, with the highest points and the perfect lives, etc. But it's so difficult because when she is herself, and she's like fuck you, because gets mad or whatever, then her points drop, and then she comes into this negative spiral downward until she meets a woman, a truck driver, who is all the way at the bottom, you know, and they're picking her up from the street. This truck driver is like, yeah, at a certain point I was like, fuck it, you know. I'm gonna be me, you know, gonna be normal, and so that's also what I'm taking out of this stuff, is that, and even if this doesn't exist, you know, this 1%, which to me is very clear that exists, you know, look at the whole coincidence of what's happening now with Bill Gates and the vaccines. In Denmark, they just took on a law that makes it legal for a government to to push, how do you say it, to put vaccines in their citizens' bodies, you know, without asking. Just how the fuck you say compulsory vaccines? Fucking crazy. Where are we? There's a country in the West, Denmark, we just make it legal to inject citizens with stuff. I don't mind what's the stuff, even if it's the super vitamin, you know. Fuck you. I'm not letting you put a needle in my arm. I decide for myself, you know. And this is where we are now. So so this that's also what's really making me very positive, is that in the end, you know, this cannot stand. And the beauty now is that I see so many people, also a lot of mainstream people, that are now like wondering, what's really happening here? You know, this is not like the guy from London Real. He makes podcasts with famous people, with as if famous people are awesome, but let's say people who succeeded in life, not some outcast or some crazy guy, but really I say credible guy. A lot of credible people are now like, nah, this shit is not right. This is like, and that's also why I say this, the little group there is also wondering, is this gonna work? You know, are they stupid enough to buy this? Are they really? And it seems like we are stupid enough, because you just go along. You just go along with it. Oh, don't go out, don't go into groups, because then they will do a lockdown. You think that you have an influence in that? You think, you really think that you have an influence in that kind of stuff? Yeah. Eventually, eventually you have a lot of influence. You know, eventually you have a lot of influence. But that is, and that's check the movie of David Icke, the podcast, because at the end he tells this beautifully. At the end, you have a lot of interest, influence with your perception, because that's what it comes down to. You know, don't let yourself be run by fear, the reptilian brain that doesn't make the best decisions. Let's say it's there for a good reason, um, to save you in times of danger, but not in this. And so be calm, be positive, and that's what I want to say. Even if this whole conspiracy is not right, about this 1% who wants to have a global world domination with a few companies, that's already happening. It's already there. The World Health Organization, the financial, World Central Bank, whatever. It's all already there. The things are already being put into place. Amazon, whatever, and their Chinese equivalent, just sort of they just combine together because it's just all one the same thing. Um, so even if it's not some old guys like let's take over the world, then it's still a question from, hey, do you want this kind of world to happen? And this reality check in China, there's people, people, human, it's us. They're not different. It's us. So already people are being monitored with face recognition, with thermal recognition, with there's the camps there where they lock up the Uyghur people, thousands of them, and do experiments on them. It's all right there in your face. We're like, oh, okay, oh, that's shit. That's crazy. So we're already in a super crazy world, and there's beautiful things happening also at the moment. So many initiatives, but that's also what makes me a little bit pissed off at the moment, is that with this economic crisis, all these beautiful small initiatives are having a challenge to stay economically healthy, because people stop buying, people stop going to great initiatives like ecstatic dance or this great gathering stuff. So even if these men do not exist, then still uh, I love to speak out about this, because I want uh, us to become aware of the world that we are creating, and that it can be different. And I want to get back to 1,000 times my insight into this cycle. We've been here 1,000 times already. I felt it very strongly inside. So someone mentioned during the Atlantis period, we also been here, and then I realized, hey, this is a repetitive play we're playing, huh? And that's also what David Icke says. At the end, it's just a play, guys. So don't worry, it's just a play. If after this after this incarnation, you go out, you come in from another perspective. You learn your lessons. Don't be afraid of the evil. It is there. It's good to recognize. It's good to put it there. It's in one point. So somebody said evil can be in one point only, and that feels right with me. Like, it's there. I think I know where it is. It's a beautiful house somewhere in England, but okay, that's there, centered, and it's trying to pull us in. But then love is everywhere. It's so much bigger. So this is a ancient old battle between fear and love, and we will see again. Uh, which side this time will win. I don't know. I don't know. And it doesn't really matter, because it will be played out 1,000,000,000 times again. So it would be awesome for me if we can create heaven on earth, the paradise, because it's absolutely possible. But what is needed for us is to get into the heart, and to start living from the heart, and to really face our fears, to really face our pains. Pushing pain away, it's not getting you there. And at the moment, people push, push, push. No, I don't want this. I want Netflix. I want chocolate. You know. I know. I'm like that. I'm like that too. Oh, this is not. I don't have time for this. I don't. I want a normal life. You know. I want to have money. I want to have fun. Let me travel. I want to take a plane. I wanna. So we need to grow up, become adults, and live from the heart chakra and go to the higher chakras, and then we can create heaven on earth. We have everything there, you know. This technology that was created in this phase is beautiful. It's magic. The technology itself is not bad, but we have to put it to right use. And so focus yourself on this positive vibe, and don't get into fear and feeling small. This is totally not needed. You know, it's a crazy time. It's like it's like a dream. And still I look outside and there's nothing happening, you know. But yesterday it came really into my life because what I see happening to my parents and what I see happening outside at the supermarket, people keeping distance, you know, and it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. This fear of that, the unknown, and there's also a solution to. So that's why all this spiritual work is super good, and more people are getting into it and doing it in all kinds of ways, meditation, ayahuasca, all kinds of stuff, to become free of that fear. And then if you become free of that fear, you're not that easily manipulated anymore. So 30 minutes. I hope you enjoy this movie. And if you have any questions, then let me know. And I'm curious how this all plays out. I bought a lot of toilet paper, tons of them. So I will be good. And yeah, lots of love. Ciao.